Hey, what's going on, people in YouTube land and in Facebook land? For any of y'all who come across, you know what I'm saying, this pieces of content and information on how to manage your money. This is your boy Lee Majors again. I wanted to speak on a topic today. It's about ghost costs. And I'm gonna just talk on some things, far as in regards of when it comes to ghost costs, and what I mean by really paying attention to what you actually saying yes to, or what you really actually want to purchase. All right, so I take for instance, like you got a lot of people that want to drive, right? Like especially a lot of young people that want to drive. I got certain family members, like my daughter and my nieces and all of that, that want to drive or whatever. And, my sisters and them be buying cars or whatever. And I asked them, I said, well, when you go into these places, right, and you go and you purchase these vehicles, it's way more expensive to own a vehicle than to oppose of, how can I say, traveling or paying for travel. I myself, coming up, I never bought a vehicle because I always knew, anybody could afford a vehicle. That's one thing. You always come in those parts in your life where you have a lump sum of money come in, right? And all of a sudden, you go and you buy and you purchase. You go and you buy and you purchase this particular vehicle. But you ain't got the money to maintain it, or you didn't do the math to maintain it. See, when it comes to doing mathematics within maintaining something, first you have to look at how much you make. All right. Then you have to look at the factor of the ghost cost that it's going to cost to maintain this vehicle. So you got price one, which is in purchasing the vehicle. And then you got number two, which is how much it's going to cost for you to maintain the vehicle. Let's get into that. Got my rip it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so when you look at these things and you see people purchase things and, people get carefree, you got to pay for gas, one. You got to pay insurance, that's two. You have to keep at least. And another thing about the insurance that I might add in, by the way, don't just rely on your insurance, because sometimes they act up as far as like your deductible and all that other shit or other things that you have to pay. All in all, if you don't have an emergency fund put away for that car, you understand what I'm saying? Most likely you're not going to keep that car for that long. So you have to have an emergency fund and insurance. Now, just you paying the car note and having insurance, that's an apartment and a half, my nigga, if you haven't bought the car outright. Now, if you bought the car outright or bought something used, then you have more of a 50% possibility of being able to keep it, if it's an American car versus a foreign car, if you bought that motherfucker used. Because all of the parts are here. It's not going to cost that much to maintain that motherfucker. But if it's a foreign car, like you got an Audi or a Benz or some shit like that, which niggas be getting, new top of the line, this, that, and the other, you paying the car note. For one, you don't even own it. The bank own that shit. You paying the car note, and then you paying the insurance. That's half, if not a 2-bedroom apartment right there. Making them comparison, yo. Now, all it takes is for something to happen one time. And yeah, you may got insurance. But depending on your insurance, because they real fickle, that shit could go up and cost you more money. Now you out of a car. Or you got to get another one. The point of what I'm saying, with all that shit in between, is that do not buy a vehicle if you don't have the finances to back up the ghost costs. Ghost costs. That means unforeseen circumstances that may happen, and you have to have emergency funds on hand to cover those ghost costs. We don't even know what those costs is going to be. Vehicle maintenance. Vehicle maintenance. You understand what I'm saying? The vehicle could break down. And then you just got a car that's sitting if you can't afford to pay it. Or now you got to work 3 times as hard just to pay that motherfucker. That's why I said everybody ain't ready to get a vehicle when they think that they ready to get a vehicle. Oh, I want to drive and this, that, and the other. A car's like taking care of a whole nother fucking person. And if you only making, a certain amount and you did the annual multiplication, annual meaning yearly, annual. You got monthly, annually. You know what I'm saying? If you did not add up how much you're bringing in every year and factor that cost in and also factor the ghost costs in, your ass is in trouble. Ghost costs is something that people don't pay attention to. And it's fucked up because you purchasing, these vehicles or whatever, and you're not able to keep the shit. I know people who done bought like 5, 6 cars a whole year. It takes, shit at your top of the line vehicle. Especially if the motherfucker man don't take cheap ass gas and you spending $100 to $200 a week in gas. That's another thing too. You spending, that much in gas. I mean, dude, between the car note, between the fucking insurance, the gas, that's like 2 other human beings. It's like you taking care of 2 babies. That's almost an apartment right there. So we have to factor in people, and this is what takes interest away from the house. So 50% of interest could go out to the car alone. And even if you are making money with the car, that's a little bit better. But even still then, it's taking majority, almost 64% of your salary that you make annually away. On top of you having to eat, and on top of you, having to do whatever other functions that you have to. As far as your place to stay. So you got the car, you got the place to stay, you got to pay insurance for the car, you got your home element, you got to buy food, you got to pay for electricity and everything like that. You got to do health insurance, all of that other stuff. I mean, when you look at it, man, most of your pay or majority of your pay is going to the vehicle. And you're doing everything to keep that up. So this is what I'm saying by us determining the factor on everything that we have in our house. Do we know the ghost cost? Is it too much interest going out of the house? Between your credit cards and all of that. You have to factor that in. How much interest is going out of the house? How much interest is you paying these motherfuckers for the vehicle? Because if you make under, and I'm gonna tell you like this, if your ass make under $40,000 a year, you should not get a brand new car. You should get a used one. And in fact, you know, if you do make under 40, fuck a car. Put $4,500 a year away for an Uber. You understand what I'm saying? We got the best transportation system in the world. That's it. You know, you pay a nigga to drive you around with $4,500 a year. You ain't got to worry about no ghost costs. All you will be paying is that $4,500 a year one time. That's what I mean by understanding money, by understanding interest. Ghost costs, interest is being used against us. They pay you interest or they charge you interest. I'm going to say it again, interest. When you know how to dominate interest, then the war could be won. You could dictate the chances of getting out of debt, paying the car off, and all of that other shit. And I'm going to tell you, if they pay you or you pay 3% interest on that vehicle, you know, like every vehicle payment, you need to slap an extra $50 to $100 on there. And I'm talking about, you know, allow that shit to build over time. Every other month, send them niggas an extra $200, $300 to pay your vehicle off. That's how you do that. But we got to talk about the ghost costs. People don't understand this ghost cost with the credit card bill. You have to determine the factor of the interest, of the yearly annual interest. You know, they charge you 20% interest. Well, what's 20% towards whatever the credit limit that they got? And that's how much extra that you're gonna be charged on top of your base payment that you have to pay. And if that, then you double that interest and pay them back that. So if they charge you 29, you pay them back 50. If you gonna handle that, it's a way to handle that. Now I done been in debt one time in my whole entire life. I had a big ass debt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I literally, you know, over $150,000 in the hole and paid that shit off in under 5 years. I cut everything off. I was paying the motherfuckers like almost $25,000 to $30,000 a year down, paying that shit off. And I ain't used no institutions or nothing like that. I used me and this brain of mine. I was sending them motherfuckers like $1,000 a month, paying that shit off. I made sure, you know what I'm saying, that I lived very frugally, you know what I mean, to make sure that that shit happened. I didn't party, I didn't do nothing. I had to get that up off of that. But throughout that process, you know, of paying all that shit off, of going into debt, and then coming out of it, it done forged just how to manage your money shit with me. You know, I didn't have to have no white folks or institutions tell me what to do or deal with any creditors that had people help me. I looked at what the fuck it was, you know what I'm saying? And I looked at how much interest, and I looked at, you know, I did the math myself and did the research myself, and I got myself up out, and I made negotiations, you know what I'm saying? I negotiated my way out of certain different things by paying the money back over a course of time. You know what I mean? And it worked, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, with that, you find a whole lot of education. At the end of the day, when you owe these people, these institutions just want their money back. And you can negotiate with them. You don't need no creditors or none of that shit. That's the bullshit that they feed you. Fuck a credit score. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Everybody credit score ain't gonna be fucking good. Everybody know this. But these motherfuckers want to know how you gonna finance and pay us. You know what I mean? It's about having the true security within how you gonna finance and pay them back, and if it's guaranteed, what type of collateral that you have. You know, the banks will ask you, well, you got loans, do you have any assets? You know what I'm saying? People didn't know a long time what the word asset means. You know, I mean, anytime that you want a loan, like you got like different people or different car places, well, I wouldn't say car places, but different loan places that would take the title of your car. You know, if you need an upfront loan and they would charge your ass a bunch of interest, and if you don't pay that shit back, then therefore, you know, they come in to take the title of your car. So this is what I mean, you know what I'm saying, by understanding what interest is and what ghost cost is. We have money leaking out of the house all the fucking time, you know what I'm saying, and you got to plug holes in it. If you are trying to control, you know what I'm saying, your income, and make sure that your income is not compromised, because it's your wealth building tool, you know. And I know it sounds cliche, but your income is your wealth building tool. When that's compromised, you know, imagine somebody trying to cover the faucet of, you know what I'm saying, your water faucet, and that's your only access to getting water. You in trouble. So if you got unnecessary interest that's sucking out your income, and your income can't, you know what I'm saying, and your income is compromised, then you can't save no money and you can't do nothing else. You're in debt. So you have to go into your list of things and what you paying and seeing what you do and what you don't, so that way that you can free up some money. And that way that you can start actually building. All right? If it's too much money leaving the house, you have to look at what you need and what you don't need. You know, some of the time you have to wait. You know, I would not buy a car not unless I can pay for the car flat out and pay the insurance up a year in advance. And that would be your best bet, because it gives you more, you know, more of a better chance to keep the car, to also build an emergency fund for the car. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be prepared to take care of it when it needs to be taken care of. I done seen people run through cars like niggas buy tennis shoes, man. That shit is not a good thing. Anyway, the name of this one is Ghost Cost. Make sure that you do the interest cost, the ghost cost. Look at all of what you get of type of interests that you're paying. From your credit cards to your car, you know what I'm saying, to the insurance, all of that shit. You got ghost costs. Make sure that you understand how much it's going to cost, and do the math. How much does it cost? Because anybody can afford a vehicle. But do you know how much it costs to maintain that vehicle throughout the course of the year? You need to do that math. You know what I'm saying? And on that note, this is Lee Majors, Chief of Command of USF. This is how to manage your money. And this topic is called Ghost Cost. That ghost cost. You got money leaking out. You don't know that it's leaking out, but yeah. And you wondering why you got to work 3 times hard. Pay attention to what the fuck you doing. All right now. Peace.